Yay.
Good morning.
Good morning, guys. We are back here for session number 8 of
You've
our.
made it.
You've made it. Yeah, this is it has felt for us like a land profit masterclass, palooza. And we are in the last 48 hours. Super excited to be here with you guys today and actually bring you this recap. Today is really about helping you skip, through any trial and error and really help you have the information that you need basically in a much more condensed way. If you've missed any of the sessions, today is probably going to be your best bet in getting most of the information that we covered over the last 7 days. We're going to do our very best to basically go on a rapid fire, of content for you guys and just help you make some of the typical mistakes that we see a lot of people do, especially solo investors, and turn those, those biggest challenges like not sending enough money, not sending enough mailers to the, or sending them to the wrong counties, or not making enough offers, or not being able to renegotiate with sellers or with buyers, not creating great listings for your property so that you have actually buyers begging to buy your properties. And so we want to simplify that for you guys today, and we're excited. We know that a lot of you are already doing something, and today is really about getting you to use the information or use the knowledge and the experience that you already have and basically replicate our results and multiply your results, upgrade your results so that you can actually do the things that you said on day one that you wanted to do, which was maybe replace your income, retire a spouse, travel, get rid of debt, et cetera, et cetera. And you're not going to do that by going fast the wrong way. So today is about not going fast the wrong way, but actually, going in the right direction, in the right true north. So with that, right, I will pass it on to you.
All right. So first of all, today we are doing a little different. We are standing. Yes. We are jumping around. We are going to do a thing. We also have our
guys. It's day 8 for us too, so we need to be
right. We have our handy dandy whiteboard here too, if and when we need it. So we are ready.
We need coffee too.
We are ready to rumble. We got our coffee. We got our water right over here. So if I disappear out of the screen sometimes, it's to grab my coffee. So we are excited to get started. And again, today we want to do recap everything we have learned so far. So if you remember, right, we started Monday with giving you a high-level overview of what is land flipping. Now, again, what is land flipping? Land flipping is just like house flipping, only that you don't deal with the number one complicating factor of real estate, which is the house, right? Which is the house. So therefore, we have no tenants, no toilets, no termites. We have no mortgages. We have no repairs. We have no foundation issues. We have no mold issues. No roof repairs, no plumbing issues, you name it. We don't have to deal with like all this tentacle of other things, which allows us to do more deals in the same time. So right there, right from the get-go, it's a simpler system. It's a simpler asset class than houses, because what we do is we do not, let me also say what we do not do. We do not develop land. I mean, you can, we actually teach you, we have actually one of our coaches that develops a piece of land right now. So if you're interested, we can teach you that, right? But typically what we do is we flip these pieces of property as quickly as we get them, right? So like it's land wholesaling, land seller financing, and we sell these properties. And first of all, we focus on the properties that are worth about $5,000 all the way to about $200,000. And some of our students even all the way to $1 million or $2 million. So now, having said that, if you're below, let's say usually around $100,000, because we're focusing on the non-wanters, on the people who do not want their properties anymore, we can often get discounts of literally as much as 95% of the market value. Another one, just a couple of months ago, one of our students posted a deal that he got for $5, and he sold it for $17,000. Now let me sink that sink in again. $5 selling for $17,000.
And those are not your typical deals. You're going to come across these. This is not the bread and butter, because that would be a treasure hunt. You know what I mean? Yes. But you can predictably expect to be able to find properties for anywhere between 10 to 40 cents on the dollar and be able to turn around and wholesale that at 60, 80%. or even retail that, at 100% using seller financing.
Exactly right. So again, but typically, so if you're under that $100,000 range, you can get those 5 to 40 cents on the dollar. And obviously, the more the property's worth, the more higher percentage you're going to offer. Yeah. So a $300,000 property, you're not going to get for $5. You're not going to get it for $5,000, and you might not even get it for $50,000. But you might get the $300,000 property for $120,000. And then, or $130,000, and then go flip it for $200,000 for a $70,000 profit. Who's okay with that? So that's the kind of deals that one of our coaches, Michelle Brown, does, and also Jansen. And
which you met her in session 4 of the Land Profit Masterclass. We had a panel of coaches. Right. If you still want to go, if you still want to go back and binge, on all the prior sessions, you can always go to the guides or reach out to your concierge that can send you a replay link. All replays are going down tomorrow at midnight. So, we're in the last 48 hours, the last stretch.
Right, exactly right. Now, so again, land flipping is a simplification of real estate because it doesn't deal with the number one most complicating factor in real estate. At the same time, what we do is we get these properties for super low. Why do we get them for super low? Because the owners no longer want them. Well, why would an owner not longer want a piece of land? Because they inherited it, because life plans changed, right? Because they asked their kids, because they bought it 30 years and it was thought to be developed into the next Palm Springs or something like that, and then the next Orlando, and it didn't happen. So they're like, okay, so I guess it didn't happen. It's worthless. It's not worthless. It's just worthless to the seller. So therefore they're willing to give these properties up for pennies on a dollar. One big reason is inheritance. Another big reason is property taxes. People do not want to pay their property taxes anymore. As a matter of fact, that's how we found this method, right? Because we found we stumbled into it. We looked into tax liens and tax deeds, and we realized that there's people that don't want their properties anymore so much that they stop paying property taxes. And then we had the thought of, what if we, instead of attending the tax lien or the tax deed auction,
which was incredibly competitive.
You're exactly right. What if we instead go directly to the owners and offer them a few cents on the dollar, because they're about to lose it entirely. They're about to lose 100% of their property, and they were willing to accept it. And that's how we got our first deal, right? For $400, and we flipped it for $4,000, literally to the neighbor. We put it under contract a few hours from here. We drove up there. We thought at that time we still had to go look at the properties. We drove up there. We put a for sale by owner sign in the bottom.
Dance on the property.
Yes, we would sometimes tango.
Because we were dancing away because we knew, the profits that were going to be involved in the sale of our property.
I remember one particular property was almost sunset, and it was this beautiful 40-acre parcel, and we would just dance on the property, the car radio on, and because we know we had gotten it for like $2,000, and we know it was worth $20,000, $25,000, and we proceeded to sell it for, I think, something like $17,000 in a matter of 10 days. That's worth a dance, right?
And we won you guys doing happy dances too.
Yes, Warren Davis. He does this happy dance every time he gets a deal. So they get a deal. So this is one of our coaches. So again, we got that deal under contract because the seller did not want to own it anymore. They didn't want to deal with it anymore. They had just it was a multiple reason kind of thing. They went through a divorce and the property, and they didn't want it anymore. It came from the spouse, and it went to him in the divorce. He's like, I don't care about this thing. I don't want it. They had stopped paying property taxes, so we got it for $400 all in. Put a sign on the property. The neighbor comes across and says, what are you doing? And we're like, well, we're selling the property. He's like, oh man, I always wanted to buy that piece of property. And he's like, well, how much do you want for it? And he's like, we don't know. And he's like, well, how about I offer you $4,000? And our negotiation skills back then were so good, that we literally extended our hand and said, we'll take it, right? And because it was 10 times our money.
Yeah.
Like 10 times our money. And here's what this first deal will do for you. This first deal will do for you. Up till in that moment, we had tried for 3 years to make this work on our own because we had no system, we had no accountability, we had no support, we had no plan on how to do this. So until that moment, we were walking around life like this. Yeah. Like we were walking around like with our internal voice talking to us saying like, come on, you're not made out for this, or we are doubting ourselves. Are we really made out for this? Are we really are we running against the wrong wall here? Are we running against the wall? Shouldn't we just go back and put our efforts into our job and do that career thing? Shouldn't we what
maybe my peers, from grad school were right at laughing at, at me when I said that I wanted to go and flip dirt versus go out there and, go for a big corporate career.
Right,
so but there were, all of these doubts and all of this itty bitty shitty committee, that was going on in our head, and we had to basically put a stop of that. And, and what was great was that we did have some successes, and those successes were basically the carrot that kept us going, for sure.
Right, particularly that first deal. After that first deal, we walked around like this, right? Chest out, because now we could say we are real estate investors. Nobody can ever tell us we weren't, right? And then 2 weeks later, the next deal popped, and the next deal, and the next deal, and the next deal. And 10 months later, we quit our jobs. And then 8 months after that, we were millionaires and so on. Yeah. So again, this is what land flipping is. It's your ability. Plus, on top of it, land flipping is 100% virtual. We looked at those first properties, but now we haven't looked at a property since I think 2007. Yeah. 2007 is the last time we drove somewhere to go look at a property. Since then, Google Maps, Google Earth, county GIS maps, online GIS maps, all of that stuff is now available at your fingertips, so you don't actually have to look at these properties yourself anymore. During COVID, like students from all over the world have been doing deals without ever having to see the property. So it's 100% virtual. You don't have to go see the property. You don't have to go talk to the sellers. You don't have to go talk to the buyers. You can actually, we have sold properties on text message. Just the other day, just somebody texted us and says like, hey, I'm interested in this property. It's like, great. What are you offering? Here's my offer price. Great. Go and send them the link. They went to the website, they placed their payment, and deal done, right? So all of this is what we're talking about to you for this entire week, right? Yeah. We started then on top of it of how, first of all,
how to select or identify the hot markets, using our methods, so that you can find the profitable counties.
Let's talk about that. I mean, if you attended yesterday's session on how to create power listings, if not, you want to attend it one more time. There we go. This is basically the thing here that I shared with you guys. This kind of scribbly line here is the city. Let's say cities are never square, right? It's more like they're like expanding in all different areas. Well, what we're focusing on is, number one, these kind of properties. Number one are infill properties, lots in the city, right? Who do we sell those to? To builders. Yeah. Number two, we still look at lots outside of the city, but in the path of growth. The city ends right here. If you're right here, and this is like an area from anywhere from 5 to, depending on the size of the city, 45 minutes drive outside. Like if you're 45 minutes outside of Atlanta, Georgia, you're still in the Atlanta, Georgia area. If you're 45 minutes outside of Los Angeles, you're still in the Los Angeles area, right? So, but of course, if that's a smaller town like Austin, Texas, then within 45 minutes, you're in Dallas. So, I mean, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but then you're basically, it's a little bit shorter outside, but basically right outside within a reasonable distance outside of that city. And then the third, who do we sell these properties to? We sell those to retirees that can't afford to live in the city, particularly in some of these markets where houses cost $500,000 and more.
Or families that want more space.
Or COVID families that want more space. Yeah. And now, thanks to COVID, or in this case, thanks to COVID, COVID accelerated the virtual working industry. Like it allows you now to work from home and only go to the office once a week. And can you live right here? Which is that, let's say it's a 20-minute drive and your office is here. Can you drive in here for this 45-minute commute once or twice a week for the benefit of living on 3 acres over here instead of living on a postage stamp kind of lot over here, right? Of course you can, right? That's a big difference. So people are moving out there and the demand for these properties is off the chain, right? And then number three, we focus on properties that are more in the rural areas. Typically, these are larger parcels, because people want space and they want to put a cabin up there, they want to take the RVs up there, they want to go hiking, hunting, swimming, all this kind of different things in those areas. Now those we sell to the entertainment, to the people who like the outdoors living, to the outdoors kind of like the RV, outdoors enthusiasts, hiker campers, dirt bikers, quad kind of people, right? So that's one of the things of who we work with. We covered that on Monday.
Yeah. So then the next thing that we covered was scaling your lead generation. It was basically, how are you going to find the sellers? How are you going to tap into millions of deals? How are you going to send out your mailings? We use direct mail to reach out to all of these potential, vacant landowners to see if they're going to be raising their hand and saying, yes, I'm interested. We don't do blind offers in the beginning, especially in an area that is not homogeneous. We like using what we call our proven performance neutral letter. And we send that out. We've tested it over thousands and thousands of iterations. Already spent a lot of marketing, dollars, so that you don't have to go out there and reinvent the wheel, create something that is not going to give you the response rates that you're going to need to actually scale this business. So we talked about delegating things out to mailing houses. We actually said LPGletters, I believe.com is one of the mailing houses that we use in order to not have to be stuffing, licking, stamping, envelopes in our house.
We talked also about places where you get the list from.
Yeah.
Like there's multiple list services out there that you can go out there. There's list brokers that you can use, like List Source, CoreLogic, DataTree, and so on. Or you can go and use Tyler. You can get the data directly from the counties, because one of the biggest distinguishing factors here, especially for those international, is this method works so extremely well in the United States that because the United States is one of the only countries that I know of that basically has no privacy laws. In other words, this information about who owns what, when did they buy them, where do they live, where do the owners live, is all public information. So you can find out about it from data sources, data list services that charge for their thing. They either charge you a monthly fee and you get a certain amount of records, or you pay by the record on there. So a few cents per record. Either way works. But bottom line is that's how you operate there. Or and then you can take that data and we send them our direct mail, to our proven direct mail. Now, the other thing that I forgot to mention that is obviously the most important part about this method is that this is truly the last remaining frontier of real estate where there's almost no competition, guys. So there's still, is there some other people that do this? Yes, of course, right? Is there a few counties where where you're gonna come across other people that also have sent letters? Yes. But there's 3,007 counties in the United States. Right now, I doubt that there's more than 1,000 full-time land flippers in the entire United States.
Yeah.
Try go to any of the real estate investment associations like the RIAs and ask around, who is a land flipper? You'll be hard-bound to find any of them. And if you find someone, there's probably trained by us, right? Yeah. But there's like 200 people there, one land flipper. That's the level of competition or non-competition that exists in this industry.
Yeah, and you may have tried other strategies, but why we're here now for 8 days is because we know this works. We see it day in and day out. We wake up to stories of our students every single day, and it is your due season. Good breaks are here. We sometimes pray for amazing things to happen in our lives, but it's not just about praying and having faith, but actually action, and actually taking action when those opportunities do show up for you.
Right, exactly right. So then, further than that, we talked about how we sell these properties. We sell these properties either as a wholesale, right? A wholesale means you get it under contract, you get a $50,000 property under contract for $8,000, and you turn around and sell it for $30,000 cash. Now, if this is a $50,000 or even $25,000, if this is a $50,000 property, how long is it going to sit on the market if you can sell it for $25,000? Not long at all. We have students like Josiah that mentioned that he did say $38,000 in his first 45 days in our coaching program, and shortly after, in addition to that, he had a deal that he put on the market that within 1 day he had hundreds of inquiries, multiple people wanting to get the deed, wanting to get contracts on the property, wanted to buy the property, and so that's how fast it sometimes can go. Now, not always, of course. Sometimes the property sits longer, particularly if you start the price higher, right? So that's why we buy them so cheap, or we put them on a contract so cheap. So if you set the price at 80% or 90%, it's going to sit there for a little bit, right? But as you move it down, every time you do a price change, you'll see that a flurry of new activity comes in until it reaches that point of just where it's just absolutely irresistible. And that point is different for kind of every property. That's why we talked about going in with the end in mind, going in and the price drop strategy. We talked about having already a pre-marketing plan in place for these properties. Now, the second way that we sell, and that's obviously all covered in our coaching program. Now, the second way to sell the properties is with seller financing. Because seller financing is actually a beautiful way that you can take a property and make 3 to 4 times as much money. Now, in other words, here's the other thing. Banks do not lend on land, right? They do not lend on land. You can get a 97% loan on your house, right? For if you have proper credit and things like that. But you can, even in the middle of the city, even a developer is going to have a hard time getting more than a 50% loan to value on a piece of land. So even in the top location with an experienced builder, they still will have to put up 50% of down payment as a down payment in order to get the loan for the other 50% from a bank. In other words, all on top of it. So if you are not, and this is like the top developers out there that have relationships with banks. Anyone else does not get land loans. So what does somebody do that has $10,000 in their pocket, the ability to make $500 a month in payments, but they don't have the ability to pay $50,000 for a property? They're screwed, right? Unless they come to you, unless they come to us, right? And then when they come to us, what they do is they actually, we can take that $50,000 property, put it on the market for $50,000 with a $10,000 down payment and $500 a month. And that person's going to be like, oh my God, that's what I needed because I don't have $50,000. So now the price is no longer a relevant piece. The price doesn't matter. What matters is the ability to actually put the down payment down and make monthly payments.
So the terms are really what make it attractive, and you increase all of a sudden, the pool of buyers that can actually have access to a piece of land where you are there, serving and really offering the opportunity of, the American dream for a family.
Exactly right. So as a result, if you have that property under contract for $8,000, now somebody puts down $10,000, which is more than what you have the property under contract for. So now you can actually do what's called the double closing and use the buyer's $10,000 to pay the seller $8,000, pay the title company $1,000, and put the $1,000 in your pocket. And on top of it, now you get cash flow for the next 15 years. And you don't make, in the other case, in the wholesale case, you sold the property for $25,000. After an 8, that's a $17,000 profit, or after closing cost, $16,000. Now, in this case, with interest and monthly payments over the next 15 years, not only do you build nice cash flow month after month after month after month, you also build up, you quadruple or quintuple your profits, because that loan probably is going to cash in at something that loan is going to pay out over time. If you add all the payments together, something like $80,000 or $90,000. So would you rather like to make $16,000 or $80,000 or $90,000? Now the answer is, it depends. At the beginning, if you need cash, right, for your ROI, right, then you sell those properties, sell cash out, because it doesn't matter what you might get over time. You just do $17,000, $17,000, $20,000, $12,000, $5,000, $50,000, right? Cash deals coming in. Get out of that, right? Pay off some debt. Put money on the sideline, right? Get some breathing space in your life. Change your life. And then what our students typically do at that point, you start doing a lot more self-financing and build that cash flow up to $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, or in our case, we built this up to over $70,000.
Yeah. And what I wanted to add is that, we talk about, a lot of deals. And why a lot of deals? Because frankly, 1, 2, 3, 4 deals a year is not what you're going to be able to, to have in order to retire a spouse, in order to leave your corporate job, in order to really make the dreams and your why come true. You do need scale, you do need volume. So it's so important. People so underestimate this and do not send, the volume of mailings that need to be going out. They do not send out the volume of offers that need to be made. And as a result, don't see the volume and the scale that you're going to need in order to actually create mastery. Because mastery comes from repetition, from doing this over and over again. Having a chance of doing 5 and 6 deals a month, you know, or 8 or 10 deals a month, means that in a 12-month, you know, if you do 10 deals, you've had 120 opportunities to learn and get better and get better. And not only that, but have profits, you know, and actual cash going into your bank account, so that you can then start outsourcing and delegating some of the activities that that quite frankly are just busy movement and busy work.
Absolutely right. So exactly right. And by the way, another, you might be saying like, Jack, I perhaps particularly if you've already been in the housing world, right? If you've already dealt with houses, you might be saying like, Jack, this is cool, but I've tried houses for the last year, and I've had a hard time even getting one deal in the house book, which by the way is the typical way. I just talked to a friend of mine who is an active house flipper and very successful house flipper, and he also coached people on house flipping. He says he stopped coaching on house flipping because the market is so freaking competitive that in the house flipping area, you don't even, he's like, a beginner doesn't even have a chance of succeeding right now. Yeah. Doesn't even have a chance of succeeding because the big guys in the house flipping area are so freaking dominant. They have so dialed-in systems. They have such big teams that it's absolutely almost impossible to get started in house flipping right now. And that's why we see all day long. That's why we see house flippers, failed house flippers, or recovering house flippers come to us all the time, because house flipping is so freaking hard. Or let's look at one of our Hall of Famers, Rich Strauss. He actually got into 2 coaching programs. He got into a coaching program on land flipping. He got into a coaching program on house flipping. He soon realized that the house flipping was taking him nowhere. So he abandoned it, and he just moved on. He continued with the land flipping. And guess what? He's off his job. His wife is off his job. His daughter's off their job. They have a family business, and they're doing something like 80 deals a year, making hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. Well, that's last
year. They could be up there because he's crazy about process and systems as well. So.
He's a great guy. So they're doing hundreds of thousands of dollars in profits right now. Moved to their favorite place in the world, right? Which is like close to the Rocky Mountains, because they're avid dirt bikers, hikers, bicyclers, all this kind of stuff, outdoors people. So this is what your dream is right in front of you, because you're dealing with a gap in the real estate market. Is it possible to do 5 deals a month with our system, 6 or 8 deals a month with our system? Yes, because there's perhaps 1,000 people in the entire United States that are full-time doing this. And most of them do this still as a one-person show. Right? Most of them is just one person does 20, 30 deals a year, or 50 deals a year, or 100 deals a year, and enjoys life, right? Because as one of our Hall of Famers just said, Tyson Horn, says like, this is the only business where the more money that we make, the more free time we have. Yeah. And why is that? Because it's about mastery. So as we continue teaching you during the course of the week, we told you how to send out those letters, right? We told you how to make offers, right? We told you that the valuation of the properties, there's like actually 5 different ways to value a property. One of them is get an estimate based on the assessed value, because the assessed value is usually in a relationship to the market value. Like in Arizona, it's 2/3 of market value. In Arkansas, it's 20% of market value. In Florida, it's more like 90% of market value. So, but it's not, you can't rely on it. It's just a guideline. Then you do sold comparables. You look at websites, which other properties have sold. If there's no sold comparables, you listed comparables, make a little price adjustment to that, right? Or you have to adjust by the size, right? Or if it's a house in the infill lot, as we talked about earlier, then you got to back into the value through the value of the houses around it, right? So there's 5 different ways to value the land. It's very simple to learn.
And
right?
For us, for anyone that is in coaching, you have access also to our CRM. Which
already does that for you.
It does that for you.
Absolutely. You put in the CPA, the zip code of the property, and it pulls up a whole bunch of comparables and brings you up. So within 2-3 minutes, sometimes you can get the comparable of that property.
And so crank out offers, because it also has an inbuilt, calculator.
Yeah. So we talked about also making offers. That our offers are between that 5 and 40 cents on the dollar, and it depends on the market price of the property of what you end up offering, right? Then we talked about follow-up systems, how you follow up on those things. But
second and third offers, and and really simplifying in order to be able to multiply all of those processes. We love systems, we love process. We've had the privilege of building businesses in large scale. Our land flipping business, we've been able to grow it to 8 figures, like Jack mentioned earlier, $70,000 worth of passive cash flow. I think you're going to have to bring that over
Yeah,
here.
I'm just
Otherwise,
gonna prepare it
people are not
for
going to
you.
see you.
I gotta prepare it.
And we want, we want that for you. We've been able now to, replicate that same success in others at lightning speed, and able to create quantum leaps for them in their income, create breakthroughs, not just in cash profits, but actually in personal development and transformation, as a leader, as a person, as a leader in your family, in your community. And we always say, anyone that starts our coaching program at the beginning, is not the same person that ends 12 months later. You're stepping into a new world, where you're much more courageous, you're much more capable, you're much more confident, and you're willing to commit to bigger deals, to perhaps larger volume, to perhaps bigger projects, more sophisticated investments, and so on and so forth.
So what I want to share with you is basically a quick rundown of the system right here. So the first thing is you select your areas. We talked about that. Second area is you contact your sellers with a direct mail letter that we have, right? Then you make your offers, right? And then now this is to get one deal, right? To get your offers. Once you get the offer accepted, you list your properties with the power listing tools that we talked about yesterday, right? And then what happens when you list your properties, you now sell and close on a property, you make your money, and you repeat the system. That's how simple as it gets to get one deal. Now, adding to that, as you obviously do more and more deals, you need systems, right? You need systems over here, right? You need systems to crank out lots of offers. You need systems over here to crank out lots of letters. You need systems over here, actually, most importantly, systems over here, and also actually here, follow-up systems to actually create massive deal flow and get
increase your acceptance rates.
Increase your acceptance rates massively, right? So this is a big one that we work with our students on, because this makes a huge difference. This is a big one we work with our students on, right?
And not only systems, but actually human intervention and experience and really first-class knowledge of someone that is in the trenches, that is going to allow you to actually, if needed, renegotiate offers with sellers.
Right. Know what to say to the sellers, know how to go about that. Listing
or
the properties.
Even using the correct documents, man. Here, if you're using, the wrong documents, or not choosing whether to decide to have a property be an assignment versus a double close, and so on and so forth, you will stumble.
You will stumble, absolutely. Then listing the properties is a place where probably most of our students are screwing up, because there's particularly if you do this on your own. Yes, our other programs have clear instructions on how to do that, but you're still screwing up on this one. And this is where we and this one here, this is where we come in, where it's so crucial that you have somebody behind you that is actually looking over your shoulder and telling you, you know what, you need to tweak this, you need to tweak that, you need to tweak this, and so on and so forth. So as a result, this is like a key piece. And the difference is, like I said yesterday, I just had a session with one of our coaching students that we went in as a team of multiple coaches, because they were struggling with selling their properties, right? And they had a bunch of properties under contract and they weren't getting any traction. So we went in there, we looked at their listings, and we made change this to that, change that to that, change this to this, change that to that, and then have this price drop strategy. And they went out, and guess what? 2 weeks later, they have literally a dozen properties under contract for sale. When before nothing happened, afterwards it's like all hell break loose, and it's like, oh my God, the floodgates. What he texted us back is like, oh my God, the floodgates have opened. How would you like to struggle for the next year and have something going where the floodgates are not open, or would you like to have the floodgates open? I mean, how much is coaching worth if it helps you take this step? And instead of selling one property every 2 months, sell 5 properties a month, with each property having a $15,000 profit. Right there is the value of $300,000 or hundreds of thousands of dollars right here.
Yeah, because it's not just going through the steps, but then once you've done these steps, and you've gotten good at this, it's optimizing it and making it better so you can actually make more with less.
Right. Also, on the selling side of the thing, now selling means like dealing with title companies and dealing with title issues and dealing with buyers that perhaps want to back out and things like that. That's like invaluable, the amount interaction that you need there and that you'll get when you have a situation where a deal is about to fall apart, right? You're looking at making $75,000 on a deal, and that deal falls apart. Was that not worth coaching right on its own? It absolutely was, and this is what happens when you do these things. Then obviously repeat the system, but with systems, guys. And when we meet with systems, then we meet with systems that allow you to have more time while you do more deals.
And we also discussed tracking what matters. I think that was session number 4 with our panel of coaches. You know, we talked to you guys about, you know, the different response rates. So response rate was, you know, basically your number of letters to callbacks, then acceptance rates, then cash profits, you know, over sales. And what was the other one? I can't remember. But it's escaping my mind, the 4th one. So we talked about that as well. We
go back to the other recordings and watch it.
4.
And watch them again.
Session 4. What else did we have? We had then on session 5, we talked about virtualizing your land cash machine. If you're doing this from, you know, anywhere in the world, or if you're doing this here in the US and you are basically out in LA, and LA County might not be the best county for you to start this with, because there is such a thing as bad counties, you know, especially if they're super higher priced, or in an area like Napa Valley that is wine country and where nobody's going to be selling their property to you, you know, for 20 to 40 cents on the dollar. Or it's going to be hard and it's going to become a treasure hunt versus a predictable, consistent, repeatable event and result that you want to, what was I saying? I forgot.
That's what happens. It's day 8, right?
It's day 8. I need more coffee. Yes, we were talking about,
what were we talking about, guys? Tell us what we're talking about.
Selling the land.
Right.
So, sorry, we're getting...
the pest control guy is here, so he's just, I might have to step out and tell him to go ahead and do what he needs to do. But other than that...
Forgive us.
That's what happens when you're live here and you're right next to your front door. And, in our dining room area, not dining room, kind of one of our living room areas. We got like 4 of them. And, but either way, so whatever we're saying, like the bottom line is here, guys, we got a simple and scalable system here that still needs a lot of human interaction in order for you to be able to scale, right? Can anyone do a deal? Yes, anyone can do a deal. But the point here is that you don't just want to do any deal. This entire master's class was designed for mastery. Or is designed for mastery. So we want you to, we know that because there's no competition in this market, because there's no houses in this market, you don't have to send somebody looking at the house, estimate repairs, get a hard money loan, all these kind of things. It is actually possible, quite possible. We see it again, we see it all the time, like Donna and Richard Philly doing 6 deals in the first 6 months, right? And now scaling it up, right? And not everyone does 100 deals in their first year. Like we look at John, one of our students, don't
be scared by that. Remember that this is about scaling and scale that fits you, that fits your family, that puts your family first. And this is a model that puts your family first.
And that allows you to actually build the lifestyle of your dreams over time, and fulfills your life's dream. It's not another rabbit hole. It's actually a scalable system that allows you to have time. When we look at John, for example, he only did 3 deals in the first during the coaching program. He only did 3 deals. Well, those were good deals. He got 100% ROI on his investments, but at the same time, afterwards, he basically used coaching to prove the concept, get the systems in place, and then afterwards, since then, he's up to $4 million in profits over the last about 5 years already. So he's pulling in almost $1 million a year from land flipping afterwards. Now, could you do this? Absolutely. So that's why I was saying, when Michelle's saying, can you do 6-8 deals, 6-8 deals a month? Well, absolutely you can. 100% you can, because you're not dealing with the complexities of house flipping out there. You're not dealing with a competition of house flipping. You're dealing with a virtual system that you can do from anywhere. And now close your eyes for a moment. Think about how life would be if you make, let's say, 3 deals a month. Let's not exaggerate. 3 deals a month at even just $10,000 in profit a month, a deal. That's $30,000 a month. That's $360,000 a year. Can you live on $360,000 a year? How would your life look like? when you make $360,000 a year?
Yeah.
Who would you be around? Who would you be with? Who would you be able to take care of? Where would you live? How would your house look like? Just think it in your mental eye. Close your eyes and think about it. How would your house look like? How would your day-to-day look like, right? Particularly at that level, you might have one virtual assistant that does 80% of the work for you, and you work 2 hours a day. So if you work 2 hours a day to make $360,000 a year,
yeah,
what would you do with your time? Would you volunteer with your local church? Would you volunteer? Would you be homeschooling your kids? Would you be traveling and being close to your family that perhaps lives far away? Would you set up your own charity, right? Would you buy the Lambo, right? No, nothing wrong with that, right? Yeah. Would you buy the Ferrari? What would you do? This is what's possible, guys. Yeah. This is what's possible. This is what our students, like for example, Dana and Richard Philly, are on track for. This is what you heard Max Vollmer, right, and his wife Caitlin, what they are on track for. Actually, more than that. This is what $20,000 within the first couple of months, right? This is what Angela Carter, who did $100,000 deal. This is what this is doing. This is what Josiah is on track
guys, for. It's never like the names just go on, and it's never really been like simpler.
Page after page after page.
It's never been simpler, and it's urgent now. You know, we there's a big level of urgency, in my opinion, because of the hot market that we're in right now. Number one. You've tried other stuff, you haven't followed through, maybe because you didn't have the implementation support, you didn't have the accountability there, the human intervention along the way. And so get over the wasted money and other programs, get over the wasted, money on the wrong coaches, and move forward in faith. This is what it's all about. It's about moving forward in faith. It's about, we know and we see it countless times, the people that actually enroll with us have had this feeling in their heart. They've had a gut feeling that this was meant for them, and in spite of the doubt and in spite of the fear, they went for it. And so if that's you right now, feeling this, know that this is normal, that is what everyone is trying, to get through, when they're trying to find success. It's that level of commitment that is so big that it scares you, and you have to muster the courage for a temporary period of time while you gain the capability with someone alongside your journey to walk you through, to help you navigate any landmines and so on and so forth, so that you can actually have the confidence, that Jack was talking about when you walk, bulletproof after your first few deals. If you're a beginner, or if you're actually scaling and already doing land flips and are bringing your business to the next level, or upgrading your results, because perhaps your income right now has plateaued with the number of deals that you've been doing, or on the house flipping side, you don't see real breakthroughs happening. Absolutely right. And that's why, guys, make sure you book a call on landcoaching.com. We had a couple of people that for whatever reason didn't show up. So perhaps they got busy. If you booked a call already and you haven't had your session yet, showing up is the first. The very first thing you might want to do is show up, right? You can't succeed in life if you don't freaking show up. So show up. Book another call. We'll forgive you. Book another call if you didn't show up. We'll go book another call on landcoaching.com. Talk to our team, right? So talk to our team. Let us say, and somebody says like, yeah, $360,000 a year, I could retire from my other work or job and do this business full time. Yes. Well, chances are, guys, look at that. Most of you guys can retire with actually probably less than $360,000 a year. The $360,000 a year, you're part of the top 2% earning people in the United States, perhaps even the top 1% in some states. So literally, we are showing you to trajectory to absolute financial abundance. And it's not just we're talking about it. We have done it ourselves. Yeah. We're doing it ourselves. We sold 2 properties last week, right? We're looking forward to probably selling a couple more this week. Like, we're selling land every single day. Land is for sale every single week. Like, we're moving forward. We're having deals listed. We're negotiating deals. We're selling deals. We're actively in this business. Our coaches all together do probably an overall amount of about 1,000 deals together, right? If you combine this thing, 1,000 deals a year. So you're here. So again, what does coaching include? Just quickly, let me summarize again. It's a 12-month program because it's designed for mastery.
It's not just designed to get your deal, right? It's not just exactly, okay, you got a deal, you're done. No, it's about mastery, guys. It's about creating abundance into your life. It's about you being the CEO of your business. It's about you knowing how to run a business that can generate those hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? So on top of it, it's so therefore, what we have is you have one-on-one coaching with our master coaches, right? You met them on Thursday. If not, go pull up in the section up above in the guide section. Pull up this the part for Thursday with a panel discussion, and there's like just 5 of our many coaches that we have, right? No, we're not many. It's like 11 of them, right? So they do this part-time. They're giving back to the community by sharing their own, because they say like what was given to them, now they want to share it further, right? So number 2,
and that's the caliber of the individual. You know, it's not just about the expertise and the knowledge, but you know, the core values that they're operating out of. So you're in the right place, you're at the right time. You know, there's a reason why you've been here with us for 8 days. If you've been every single day, you know, committed and showing up here for the lives, and it's time for you to fill yourself with an expectancy and take bold action and take the next step. You know, we cannot do anything but meet you halfway. You need to come also, you know, halfway to meet us.
Right. So, and also to Ben's question, I just had to look up on the other thing. It says like, do you guys help with all the systems that we enroll? Yes, we help you. We show you exactly how to set up those systems. Now, do you ultimately have to do the work? Yes, of course, right? So you still have to do some work, but we are there. If you're struggling setting up a system, we are there to help you over that hump. We have human interaction. That's why I want to go on. We have one-on-one coaching with our master coaches, but also we have daily group coaching called 5 days a week. We have 7 sessions. So actually 2 days of the week, there's 2 sessions, right? Where we one day of the week, it's all about buying and setting up the systems and buying and getting more deals set up, more deals coming in. One session a week is all about selling and actually scaling the selling part and selling more properties quicker and negotiating and critiquing your listings and all this kind of stuff. 1 day a week is all about scaling. So it's all about scaling. That's all about the system. So in those sessions, we'll show you exactly step by step how you set up systems, how you train a VA, how you hire a VA, how you do KPIs for a VA. Anything you want to know, we'll do. Plus, each of these sessions there's the pest control guy.
I know.
Each of these sessions has a Q&A at the end. So what that really means is that any questions you ever have about it, you could simply jump on that session for the day and you get your questions answered. Now, on top of it, that's not only it. You also get your own personal accountability coach that is assigned to you, that is there for you the entire year, right? That is like that you send messages to, they answer questions back to you. It's like whatever, like when you that help you to every hurdle that you have. And they either know the answer, they get the answer, or they put you together with somebody as the answer. So plus our entire team is part of a discussion group, a chat group. Right. And then so anyone that gets a question in that they perhaps cannot answer in the moment, they just go in and bring the group, and the collective brain trust of our team will have the answer to that question literally, usually within 5 minutes. And then that question gets related back to you. Now, obviously, or within a couple of hours, that question is like answered depending on how many people are active in the group at the moment. But usually that same day we have the answer, and we'll bring it back to you within usually 1 business day. So therefore, and if it's super urgent, even faster. So we are here for you. And to your question therefore, Ben, so if we help you with the systems, yes, of course we help you with the systems. Like if you struggle setting up a phone system up front, guess what? Our team is there to guide you exactly through the steps, right? Our team is there to make sure you set that up. If you have to hire a VA and you don't know how to train him, our team is there to give you instructions on how to overcome every one of these hurdles. That's why we are setting this up this way. That's why this is the premier coaching program in the industry. That's why there's nobody that comes even close to what we offer in the industry. This is the best program that the world has ever seen, that is also illustrated by our huge, humongous success rates that are probably 10 or 15 times higher than the industry. And
we're not scared of hiding them, because other people are scared of hiding because there might be non-existent or maybe one here and there. Right. But you guys have right now over the last 8 days met so many, and like I said, it's an everyday occurrence inside of our community, waking up to people doing deals, making things happen, and really improving their lives, their families' lives, they're creating legacies for their families, and really
Mark,
doing amazing things.
Yeah, and Mark, what systems are these referring to? I'm talking about the phone system you need to set up. We're talking about that you want to have a mailing system, right? That you want to set up a mailing house. We're talking about your follow-up systems. Systems are not always technology. Systems are processes too. A follow-up process, follow-up step that that you can follow again and again and again. Those are systems. There are business systems and there's technology systems. Right now, I'm talking more business systems, but also technology systems. If you need help with setting up these technology systems, we'll help you set those up. But if it's a business system, we have our coaches are constantly developing. We are constantly developing new business processes to make our systems even better, to make our success rate even better. You know what? When we typically say you get a deal accepted for every 25 to 35 offers you send out. Guess what? We got coaches that get a deal accepted for every 13 offers they make. Would you like to know how that works? Right? That book or call landcoaching.com. Come aboard with coaching. Just think about that one thing. If you can get twice as many deals out of the same mailing, how quickly would you get an ROI on your coaching? If you, instead of doing one deal out of every 25 or 30, 35 offers now, or 30 offers, now you get 2 deals out of every one. For every single mailing that you make that gets you 30 phone calls, that you now not just get 1 deal accepted, but 2, you make an extra $10,000 to $15,000. You do that once a month, you get an extra 10 deals or 12 deals a year. You make another $180,000. How quickly is your coaching paid for? Right? That's what we're talking about. If those that try alone, they can ultimately see success. But the most important part is you'll miss the market, guys. You'll miss the market of our lifetimes. Right now, we are in the market of our lifetimes. Right now, we have there's the most buy. There's lots of buyers out there. There's lots of sellers out there, and there always will. There's lots of buyers and lots of sellers out there. And the margins are some of the largest margins that we have ever seen, or actually the largest margins that we have ever seen since we're doing this. We have been doing this since 2002. We've been doing this through the spike up there, the frenzy in 2006 and 7, through the downturn, through the bottom, all the way up there, Grant. Right now is the best market. Right now, this market we expect will last another year, 2 years, 3 years. I don't know, probably a couple of years at least. And even if it then falls off a little bit, you still do plenty of deals. You just do less margin deals, but you can continue making hundreds of thousands. But the question is, do you want to leave hundreds of thousands of dollars on the table right now, when right now is the time to get active? So therefore, book your call with Land Coaching.
Yeah, and actually, as you were speaking, I remember now what I wanted to say earlier,
go ahead.
which was basically what you just described. Back in 2008, we were in a huge economic downturn, and we could see everyone, around us losing their shirt. And we just keep on cranking out, offers. We just kept on cranking out sales and just continue flipping land no matter what was happening, and really creating our own economy and doing it yet again right now, this big swan event in 2020. I mean, the breakthroughs, it was a breakthrough year for everyone that was inside of our community last year. And so if you're new to us, it's like Jack said, we've been able to do this no matter what's been happening in the market. We've continued consistently and predictably doing deals, and actually, having the luxury even of allocating some of those cash profits and cash flow into other asset classes as well.
Right.
Yeah. Definitely not the stock market, though.
No.
Real estate asset classes.
Well, we did invest in the stock market when the market crashed, because we knew it would come back. But now it's super frothy. You really want to take money off the stock market right now and move it into your own thing, because even in the stock market, you are the victim. You are not in control.
You have zero control.
You have zero control.
Here you have all the levers, that depend on you, where you can optimize and tweak things in order to basically improve your cash profits and your cash flow.
Absolutely. And if you're a day trader, like our piano teacher is a day trader during the day, and he's like stressed out. He's like trades from 5 in the morning, and he apparently does make some money with that, but it's like a freaking job. Who wants another job? No. Instead, we hang out in Bora Bora, we hang out in Hawaii, and like our students are doing. Justin Harris, one of our students, hangs out in Mexico right now and is doing $20,000, $30,000 deals from Mexico. Our students are hanging out in Germany. Our students are quitting their jobs left and right, and just spend like a few hours a day doing this business and to make six figures, high six figures, and you can do the same thing.
Somebody asked if we join, we get coaching for 12 months.
Yes.
That is correct. It is a 12-month project, or 12-month program, because we are trying to get you to really break through ceilings every 90 days. Each and every quarter, our goal is to bring you through startup, where you get your first 1 to 3 deals, in the first 90 days, then bring you to ramp up, where you're actually building volume and increasing, the number of deals. You might still be doing, things yourself. It depends on where you're at and your resources that you start with. Then 3, you're building out, and you're basically bringing in help, because now your business is throwing off the profits in order to get people to come and help you. So that in, stage number 4, which is the last quarter of that 12-month program, you're actually at a level of mastery and confidence where you can decide, okay, for year 2, I'm going to be doing either X amount of volume. Maybe I'm going to double it. Maybe I'm going to triple it. That's what we see right now. Actually, we had a gentleman post inside of our community. He's buying even properties using his self-directed IRA. He's 2xing or 3xing what he's doing basically, or what he did in years prior in just the first quarter of the year, and so on and so forth. And once you're at that level of mastery, you can decide, okay, is this what I'm going to do, or am I going to do something like our coach does, Michelle Brown, where she's going for $80,000, $100,000 profit spreads in just one deal. And when you have an $80,000 to $100,000 profit spread, maybe you don't need 100 deals. Maybe you just need 20, 30, 40 deals a year, $30,000,
$100,000 deals is a good deal. It's $3 million. So you only need 5 deals to make $500,000.
Yeah.
Like, you do 5 deals a year, it's a minor hobby, guys. In our world, that's a minor hobby.
Yeah.
In the house flipping world, that's a full-time job.
Or maybe you decide that you want to start developing,
right?
like another of our master coaches, Nancy, she wants to start developing, and now she's working, using our exact same neutral letter, to get a piece of land that she's now developing, and it's going to turn into a $16 million project.
Right.
Once
and
everything
even in the
said
process, she used you. How did she found that property? Using our method.
Yeah.
And then actually broke off a piece, sold that for a very, very, very high profit, which I'm not in liberty to say, but it's like, it's kind of above the ballpark that we talked about all this time, and way above that. And then she moved on, and she kept another piece, and now they're developing that into a actual assisted living facility that's going to be worth $16 million. So land became her entry program. Land became her model to bring mastery, and then you use those skill sets to move into other areas. So again, this is like what I always say is, like, if you're a beginning investor, you don't want to pick something that is so freaking complicated that you're going to fail. Instead, pick something that you can that you can mentally understand, that you can wrap your arms around, and build mastery out of it. And in the process, what you'll gain is cash, confidence, and as well as capability. And in that process, you got to go and courage, right? The 4 C's. Yeah. And in the process, you got to be able to then build, then make so much cash, make so much thing that, and learn so much and become such a master that then over time you roll into another thing. So yes, our program is 12 months. And also the other thing I wanted to mention is that, like if you put the pedal to the metal, by Q2, you have cash flow coming in to the degree that you potentially can quit your job already. We have seen that happen. We have seen that happen, that people, like, after 90 days, there's like, hey, I've made more than I made in a year in my job. I gotta quit. And they quit, and then they move, and now all of a sudden in Q2 you make enough. You already make more than what you live on, and that means that's why, and that's why that allows you to then hire the help and hire the team of like 1 or 2 virtual assistants and build this up to a high 6-figure business. But even if not, you know what? We have students that do 200 deals alone without any virtual assistant. Like, they work a little more. In order to do 200 deals, you probably work 5-6 hours a day or so over time as you have your systems in place. But still, 200 deals a year, it's a 7-figure income, guys. right? So again, somebody says, what's the number to call? What you want to do is you want to go on landcoaching.com and book a call, because our team is operating in calls. If you call in right now, you probably only get the voicemail. So go on landcoaching.com and book a call with our team. By the way, also, there's still bonuses around. For those who enroll today and get and pay in full, right? They still get $1,000 off. We also you still get a one-on-one with myself. You still get or one of our master coaches. You still get the deep dive into the area selection, right? Which is one of the key pieces here, right? If you get the area selection right, guys, if you get area selection right, then everything else falls into place much easier. Because area selection, because there's such a thing like bad counties, as Michelle said earlier, right? Yeah. We made that mistake one time. We went into Sonoma County, California, without realizing that it's actually wine country. And then because it's wine country, the acre is worth $1 million each. So nobody nobody called back, nobody got, so we wasted time and money going into a county that looked good on paper, but it was wrong. Well, we're going to avoid that for you. We're going to help you select those counties. So you're going to select the counties. We're going to review your counties and give you pointers to make sure that you pick good counties, right? That we help you analyze, help you review the counties that you submit to us, and we'll show you exactly how to select those counties. And for that, I'm personally doing a group session with where I'm drill down on that even more in detail than you get otherwise already. I mean, you already get it. Our team drills down it, so you get double. You get the session really twice: once with one of our coaches, and once with myself. Now, on top of it, there's
Jack actually shares his screen and shows you the criteria that we use, like on a map, right. Actual example of counties and areas that would be great areas to mail to, and areas that depict an area where we deem it not advisable for you to send out.
Exactly right. I'll show you when I would say yes to a county, when I would say no to a county, all these kind of things. That itself, it can literally lay the trajectory for your success like a rocket ship. Now,
also the Tracking What Matters session with our head coach, Mike Smyer, is also included, where basically he is going through the sheet, which everyone that is in our coaching program gets, where you basically track response rates, where you track acceptance rates, where you track cash profits, and then you can decide which counties you're going to go back and harvest and continue depth basically to dominate in those areas or in those regions.
So Chris, yes, there is, and contacting Ariana has nothing to do with the job market, right? Like absolutely nothing to do with the job market. So yes, there is a thing. We have 5 criteria of how we select these counties, and those are going to go through in that bonus session for those who enroll in coaching, right? So book your call with us, talk about that, because that right there can make such a trajectory. So for example, when Megan Autry and her mom, when they got started in real estate and land flipping, they were struggling on their own. They were struggling. They couldn't get much further. So the very first thing we did, we basically rolled them back and said, like, let's look at your county selection. Let's make sure you do it the right way. Yeah. And then we figured out that then we needed to make some tweaks there. And after those tweaks were made, guess what? The next 100 days, $100 and something thousand in profits. That's how powerful this can be on its own. And then the Tracking What Matters.
12 months from now, you will never be questioning your decision for having joined the coaching program. That we can guarantee for sure.
Yeah, we can guarantee. We have probably pretty much a 99 point something percent satisfaction rate and happiness rate from our students. So now going on, we also have money talks, communicating effectively with buyers and sellers. Such a crucial session. Again, if I take the steps here, selling the properties, selling the properties. That's why I put it in as an extra additional step here, because selling your properties is not
the same as marketing.
It's not just the same as marketing. It's closing the freaking deal. Yeah. It's talking to people in a way that they want to buy the property, right? It's asking closing questions. It's sales, right? It's sales training really for that. Now the nice part is you don't have to chase people. They come to you, and then all you do is ask the right questions. Now that on its own has made such a huge difference, particularly for those students that come to us with already some experience, with those house flippers that come to us, where the house flippers are used to letting a realtor deal with the sale part, right? So in this case, We teach you how to sell these properties in record time on your own, or when you're hiring a realtor, how you properly hire a realtor, like Aaron alluded to in the Thursday session. And then a new bonus that we're introducing today for all those that come on board. Literally, we're closing. This closes tomorrow night. We got only 5 spots available right now. 5 spots. Then this is gone. Our team still has something like about 60 or 70 phone sessions that were already booked. So these spots are going to go in like no time. So make sure you book your call on land coaching. But then on tomorrow night, we're closing the doors, right? And then on Wednesday, right away on Wednesday, we're doing a exclusive rapid fire introductory session with Michelle and myself, where we basically walk you through exactly what's going to happen, take all your questions, give you already we're not waiting around, guys. You get enrolled right now. We are ready for you. We are ready to get your rocket ship launched. We are ready to get you guys going, right? So
somebody's saying, I asked the same question yesterday, but unfortunately it didn't respond. I only see Facebook user. Do you mean, does the CRM have the letter to send out? If that's what you're referring to, yes, the CRM does have the letters. Everything is inbuilt inside of the.
Yeah. But the thing is, the CRM is not for sale on its own. It's only part of one of our programs. So make sure you talk to landcoaching.com. Go to landcoaching.com, book your call, talk to our team, and we'll determine which is the right process, which is the right level for you to get started. Also, guys, if you're in a position that you say, like, you know what, I can't do coaching, we do have other programs. So make sure you still book a call on landcoaching.com, because you got to get started with something, because no matter what level you have from us, you still get our support. You still get us to become part of the family. We want you to be part of our team and our family.
In our community,
right?
excellent.
In our community, right.
So with that, let me see if there was anything else that we needed to cover. I think we have gone through most of the recap. If anything, I think we still needed to condense anything that had to do with virtualizing basically the business.
I can talk about that, virtualizing your business. Again, in summary, we're dealing with a problem.
And that was session 5, guys.
In summary, we're having this method is really your opportunity to create your own economy. No matter what president is president, no matter what the economy does, like, again, we have done this in a steep uphill and a steep downfall. Like, this is why we started, one of the reasons we started teaching this. We realized in 2008 and 9 that the people were losing their shirt, right? Yet our method, this method, continued working. So we're just like, when there's nobody in the world doing this, and there's still, compared to houses, nobody in the world doing this. So it's like, we gotta share this, and we gotta help all those people that are trying to do real estate the hard way, that there is another way. Now, of course, to scalability, there's still some work involved, but it's like, it still is so much less tentacles than house flipping involved, and so much less competition. So in summary, we talked about, this is a method to get land under contract for 5 to 25 cents on the dollar. We talked to you about what kind of land, right? These are the three kinds of different lands: in the city, in the outskirts of town, and in the more rural areas, the larger acreage, right?
I haven't had breakfast. When he puts this picture, it starts to look like a cookie to me.
That is true, right? Then we talked about that when we're selling. Who do we selling? We're selling to the builders, to the retirees, right? To the people who want more space, to the people who want the weekend fun, right? And we're talking about selling to those. We're talking about selling with wholesale and seller financing. We had this deal for 5 to 40 cents on the dollar, and we're flipping them for just, if we buy them for 10, we flip them for 50. If we buy them for 40, we flip it for 60% of the market value, and we're making tens of thousands of dollars in the profit, in the process. You're making tens of thousands of dollars.
But
in
if
the
you
process.
are, for example, doing this from Germany, which is what our master coach is doing, and we have several students as well that are doing this from someplace else in the world. It was about bringing in.
No, I know. I'm getting there. Just a second. So on top of it, we're doing this without almost any competition and from anywhere in the world, and that's exactly where I'm going to go with this here, right there. From anywhere in the world.
Just get to the point.
Right. So, which is from anywhere in the world, which means that you can outsource and automate and virtualize almost everything in this business. Let's talk about it. How do you get, like, if you're traveling your RV, what do you need? You need a phone number that goes to you wherever you are, right? So you need a virtual phone system, right? The virtual phone system, like that, that you can take phone calls from anywhere in the world. Number two, you need a virtual mailbox, because particularly if you live outside of the United States, if an accepted offer comes in, well, where do they send it to? They're not going to send it to you to China or to Germany or to Mexico or to Canada. They're going to want to send it to a mailbox in the United States. And there's these virtual mailboxes that scan in whatever mail comes to you, that you can look from anywhere in your world on your computer, pull up, see what the mail was, print it out at your home printer in Germany or in wherever you are. And
Australia.
Canada, Australia, exactly.
We have Australians doing 20 deals.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we have an Australian couple doing 20, 30 deals a month. And the exact same thing. They have a virtual mailbox in the United States that gets those letters in, and then gets those offers in. You print them out, they sign them, and then they send them right back. Then you just scan them and you email them back. You email them over to the title company, right? What else do you need? You need a mailing house, because if you're in China or in Mexico or in Australia, you won't send your letters out from Australia into the United States or from Germany or from Canada. You want to send it from within the United States. So you have a mailing house, which we have already a relationship with, right? Actually, an integration in our software that's coming out in the next few weeks. Like, then we have, what else has come? Then you need to make offers. Yeah? You use the same mailing house to send out the offers. And then what else do you have? You need to, and then for the closing, you use title companies. Right? And for the listing of your properties, you can use realtors, or you just list them yourself from anywhere in the world on these websites that we already talked about. So you can absolutely virtualize everything in this business. And because of that, we now have students in Germany, in Switzerland, in Austria, in Jamaica, in Spain, in China, in Hong Kong, in Mexico, in Canada, of course, quite a few in Canada, right? That do this from their respective countries in the United States. And why in the United States and not in their countries? Because most countries have have privacy protection laws that do not allow you to get access to the data of who owns the property and where do they live. But the United States does. Right? The United States does. In the United States, all of that information is public record. So therefore, whether you live in Australia or Mexico or Canada or wherever you live, even in the country, you have access to that information. You can pull up who owns what's the property worth, who owns it, where do they live, when did they bought it, and many other pieces of information often. And therefore, you can extract that. You can use that as a basis to send out your direct mail and contact your owners with that. Does that make sense? So you can virtualize everything. So that means, like, would you like to live a month or a year in Italy, right? Would you like to live in the Toscana or in Rome and sit on the street cafes and drink cappuccinos once COVID is over, right? Would you like to do that? Then get freaking started now, because by the time COVID is over, you got those things. It's all over all around the world. You got the Europeans limping a little bit behind with the vaccinations. So it's probably going to the summer. But by summer, like 4 months from now, you have deals going. You have deal flow coming in. You're making offers. You get deals accepted. And you can go say, like, you know what, screw that. Let me go travel to Italy and sit on a plaza with a cappuccino and a pizza and a glass of wine and make my offers from there. Create my listings from there, right? Talk to my to my buyers from there. Sell the properties from there, because this is a truly international, worldwide, virtual business. Who is excited about that? Where would you like? Give me a heck yes, and give us a heck yes, and actually tell us, where would you love to do this business from? And it doesn't have to be Italy. It can also be your ranch in Wyoming. It can also be your ranch in Colorado. It could be the house next to your parents so you can take care of them and where it may be, right? It could be your beach home on the East Coast, right? It could be your lake home. Where would you do that business from? Like I said, 2-3 deals a month, $10,000 a deals, $350,000, $400,000 a year is possible. Like we know, Anila is doing it. The Phillies are doing it. All the students, like for example, what's her name?
You're gonna hear from, I think, maybe, or you already heard from Lauren Maines. You know, she used to be a CEO of a manufacturing company, and you know, she and her husband were not looking at a great retirement, and this has meant for them, you know, a dignified retirement, something that she's excited about, you know, that is where she actually sees the results and the, you know, of the fruits of her labor. So it could be so many reasons, you know, for stepping up pretty much.
And I love what people are saying, like from Hawaii, America, undecided Texas ranch, my ranch, Maui.
Yeah, Maui is on the top of the list for me too.
Mexico, Colombia, Hawaii.
We're just waiting for Sophia to be done with school because she loves her school and her friends, and so it would break my heart to take her away. But once she's done, Maui is my place too.
I love it. Greece, Florida Keys, St. George, Amish country. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Like the world is your oyster with this business. Yeah. It doesn't matter where you live. In house flipping, you're tied to your local market. And if your market is hyper competitive, guess what? You're screwed. Yeah. On the stock market, you're depending on what the stock market people do. And if that market crashes, you're screwed, right? You can't do in the stock market with other people's money. You can do margin things, but guess what's going to happen if the market crashes? You get a margin call. Right? What happens if you buy a property for 10 cents on the dollar and the market goes down a little bit? You go sell it, instead of for 60 cents, you sell it for 30 cents. And instead of 6 times your money, you only make 3 times your money. Who loves that as your worst case scenario, right? So this is what we're talking about here, guys. Book your call. This is your opportunity to change your life. This is the best method in the world. This is one of the key. This is the simplest method.
And you're here coming on board with a team, you know, that is first class, that is peerless in the industry. We're not just about having an opinion about what's wrong with the industry, but we actually do something about it, you know, and the delivery that we are able to bring to you guys, you know, with accessibility to our team and master coaches every single day of the week is unparalleled in the industry. We're not a one-man show, you know, we have the credentials, we have the track history, not just of ourselves doing this, but of others using our method and actually succeeding and seeing those quantum leaps in income in just a single quarter.
Right. And that is, so what this is all about is you need to give yourself the permission to say yes.
Yeah.
And not just to say yes to us, but say yes to yourself.
Yeah.
Like you need to say the first commitment that you need to do is to yourself. Yeah. Commit to yourself. Commit to your own success. Commit to you knowing that you can do that, because we know you can. We have taken 80-year-old couples to this program. Yeah. We've taken people that are 19-year-olds in college to this program. We've taken single moms to this program. We've taken truck drivers to this program. We're taking medical doctors to this program. We've taken CFOs, COOs to this program. We've taken like
attorneys,
construction workers to this construction workers to this program.
Waitress, you know, a nurse through this program that wanted to retire in 4 or 5 years time, and she was able to retire, I think, within a couple of years versus the entire 5 that she had, set out for herself. We were able to collapse time for her. And
then go find what it takes. If you go out there, like don't let no be an answer, right, to yourself. Like go find it. Like one of her students.
I can't afford it. It shouldn't be part of your vocabulary as an investor and as an entrepreneur. Is how can I make it happen?
We have had people that have found somebody else that sponsored them, that paid for their coaching, and they did a partnership. He paid for their coaching, and then therefore for the next year or something like that, on every deal they do, they did a partnership. We have people borrow from the IRA to go to self-directed.
We don't know if that's the right decision for you, but we know what others have done.
What others have done, right? And then guess what? And then in the next 90 days, they got 37 deals under contract, of which a whole bunch of them already closed, right? So it's like, what are you going to do to make this happen? Take action, be creative, think around it. Don't take no for an answer. If there's a will, there's a way. Book a call on landcoaching.com.
Any other question, guys? If not, then I think we are for the virtual phone system. I'm fearless. Yay. Awesome, Angelica. I'm excited. Can I sign up for the low-end course gradually move up?
Book a call with our team. Yes, we absolutely. Also, for those who already have some of our lower tiers programs,
and are looking
you can
to upgrade,
right? Go on landcoaching.com.
Upgrading to coaching means upgrading your results.
Upgrading your results, upgrading your life, upgrading your commitment. Go to landcoaching.com and talk to our team. They can give you, they can most likely give you a credit towards what you paid already, or at least a partial credit, depending on what it is. So make sure you do that. Make sure you talk to our team. Book a call, because again, in about 36 or 40 hours from now, all of this goes away. Right? This on midnight Pacific time, so that's midnight Pacific time. All of this goes completely away. It's complete. It's going to be gone. All the videos are going to be gone, and the card will be closed.
And we turn basically all our attention towards everyone that has joined us, getting them fully onboarded, giving them their very first welcome call, and getting them started basically in their quick intensive 6-week program. That is part of the coaching master's program.
All right. So with that said, guys, have a wonderful Monday. Book a call, talk to us, get started.
And if you book a call, show up. That's number one.
That's important. Yeah, show up. All right. With that said, thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.